To know more on HIV or AIDS, call toll-free number 1097. Know your status. Be educated about AIDS. Issued in public interest by the Meghalaya AIDS Control Society.
Menteri Rangba ke jylla ukondat ke sangma ulong baga Sorkar ke Khmih Lynti banla bon Weng no ya ke jikpelip boarding electric ha ke jylla Hapoh kalai periu Kynta hadien ke jinge penben ke balong lasai ke sngi hapadeng menteri ke tanat boarding ke jylla James PK sangma bod menteri ke sakau pedeng Khmih ya ke power ministry RK Singh bod ke National Thermal Power Corporation Wilayah thu bagi Sorkar jylla kelak kerpat ya ke power ministry bantu kelar halor kasas kelar balai sai bat ke NTPC nomor kamyaha bak NTPC kan tukelar wan phak pelip light ya ki wei company haba claim ship ya ke boarding na ke NTPC ula pentep bagi jinga kren menta kelayat banchna biang ya ke letter of credit balese na do lasai ke singi onla wan Weng no ya ke jing pelip boarding ukonrat ulong baka MECL ka saram haki bobon ki company pemi boarding hendai limba ka atma nirbhar loan naga sakau peding kaba siaja laispa sausan klur la seuru syakini company bala pha bet lingba ka REC om naga Sorkar jylla ne ka MECL ha kaba la pentipru bana ka laispa kror jong ka benta baningkong la de ban siu syabarok ki company kenthop syaka NTPC ula penpau ya ke jinglengok ba ka NTPC kala ban pha khang ban penpoi ya ke boarding ha jylla namar menta ka jylla ka claim kit boarding show na ka NTPC bat ke jing pelip ya ke boarding kalong ka ba claim poi perkhat setia bat kampat juja ukanrat wilayah thuru bakadon kasas kelar balai soi bat ke NTPC nadu snam arjar nyo banshim ya ke boarding naka bongai gaung thermal power station katkum kate kasas kelar barok ki jylla ka thai north east ke ha banshim ya ke boarding nak te jaka balada kim tre banshim ru ke ha bansiu ya ke fixed charge syaka NTPC bat kani kasas kelar kalawan ra jing ya ke jylla bat pinkhya ru ya ke MECL ulai thu bahalor kani nagapor sikapor ka Sorkar jylla kala thoru syaka Sorkar India bat syaka NTPC ban penthamai no ya kasas kelar
as you're aware that the government of the power department and the MECL had dues to different generation companies and through the Atmanirbhar loan of 1,300 crores plus we got this loan from Government of India and in batch wise we'll be releasing to the different generation companies according to what the MECL owes them. And this money, of course, is transferred directly from the REC to the company. It never comes to the state government nor to MECL. Now, based on that, the first tranche of 300 crores was released and the money was given to different generation companies, including NTPC. Now, at this current point in time, Meghalaya government, or I should say the state of Meghalaya and MECL, does not buy any power from NTPC. So there's no power that we buy from NTPC. It is from different generation agencies. So therefore, when this regulation was done, it was completely unexpected because it makes sense that if you're supplying some power to the state and then you come up and say, well, we're not going to supply that power to you tomorrow, then we understand that you're not giving us what you are supposed to give us. But here what NTPC did was they regulated through certain clauses and certain through the ministry, they regulated the supply of power from other generation companies to us, not from their generation, because we don't buy from them, as I said. So therefore this is something that has never happened before, and we were completely surprised. If the companies that are supplying to us stop us, we can understand. But here there was a company who's not supplying to us, but through different channels and different systems and different technologies available, they stopped the supply from another company to which, we're having a proper relationship and all payments and everything been done. So that is number one. So it was very unexpected, never happened before, and took us by surprise. Number two, we have been clearing the payments to NTPC and NIPCO also. Just as I said recently, 100 crores was released to NTPC. So therefore, the process of clearing the dues is on. So that's something that we want to also give a message to NTPC and to everyone. And Honorable Minister had gone to Delhi to discuss that. The third aspect is that there are certain agreements that were done with NTPC in relation to the Bongaigaon power plant in the year 2007, and based on that agreement, most of the northeast states need to compulsorily take power from this plant, and in case plant is they don't take the power from this plant, then they have to pay a minimum fixed charge to NTPC. So that means even if you don't take a single unit also, that agreement which was signed 10-12 years back requires us to pay a minimum charge to NTPC. Now this agreement has put a lot of burden on the state, the MECL, and of course there are a number of discussions, number of letters have been sent to Government of India and to NTPC to revise this agreement, because it's not very fair on the state government, and the rates have changed. The rates at which they are providing power, that agreement is very high compared to what's available in the market today. So this is the third point that is there. But coming to, just to give you clarity of what has been happening with NTPC in the last many years. But coming to what the situation now is, therefore, we had requested Power Ministry that since we are not taking power from them, it's unfair for NTPC to regulate the power supply being given by another company. That's number one, and we clarified that, and Minister has agreed, and discussion is taking place. NTPC has asked for some, conditions that have to be met, and they would like certain LC to be opened up again, and those discussions are on. So Honorable Minister was in Delhi for 2 days. He has had discussions with the Power Minister as well as with NTPC. So those aspects are being worked out. Tomorrow, the final discussion agreement and whatever steps have to be taken and conditions to be met will be done tomorrow. So we expect that tomorrow, from tomorrow onwards, that means if you add tonight, so 12 hours to add 24 hours, we are hopeful that in the next 36 hours to 48 hours, we should be able to deregulate the power, the supply that has been done, and we should be able to come back to normalcy. So this is how it was. So this is the history behind it, and that's the reason it took us by surprise. As I said, we never expected this kind of a situation to be there. But nonetheless, I'm thankful to our Power Minister and to Government of India also for quickly finding a way out. And hopefully, as I said, in the next 36 to 48 hours, we should be able to resolve this power issue. Normally, there is a demand that is put in by the state units, I mean the MECL. And this is put into a portal, which is then by the Northeast, I don't have the technical name for it, but NEPCR or something. So they normally then look at the entire demands that are given by the different states, and according to the power availability, then they allot the power to the different states based on the demand, and this is done every day. So there is a demand of about 75 megawatts which we put into this portal, and then this organization then works around it, and then they give us power from NIPCO and other organization generation units that are there, and of course we also give that preference to them based on the rates that are there. What MOP Ministry has done is that based on certain conditions that are laid down in agreements that were made by NTPC a long time back, they block the access for for MECL into that portal. So we could not put in our demand for power, though it's not from NTPC, it's for somebody else, but we just couldn't enter that portal and put in our demand. So they invoked certain conditions, which again is something that's never been done before and shouldn't have been done, and that's why it took us by surprise. As I said, nonetheless, we are thankful to the public also. We understand they've faced a lot of problem. We are working to ensure that this is resolved. And to be very frank, as I said, this was unexpected. We never thought that, as you were saying, you surprised yourself. I'm sure all of you are surprised that how can a generation company who's not supplying stop others from supplying. So it's never happened, as I said before, and it's been done because they stopped the entry of the demand from the MECL side into that portal, which then gives us the access to other generation companies. So it's a bit technically a bit complicated, but that's in a very layman's term, that's what really happened. But as I said, all said and done, we are now very close to finding a solution to this, and as I said, by tomorrow midday we should be able to get the entire discussions and terms and conditions sorted out, and I hope that in the next 36 to maximum 48 hours we'll resolve this issue. As I said, what happens is that the demands of the northeast states, what they do, or every state, they put in this demand to MOP, and then MOP through their agency, then this company, which as I said is MOP company, I'm not remembering the name right now. Then this agency then accordingly gets the power from different generation companies and then gives it to the states based on the demands that they have. So that's how it works out. So that is done through a portal where we have to then put in our demand. So this access to this portal was stopped, and that's why this happened. And though today NIPCO is ready to give, others are ready to give, but our demand is not going into the portal, and that's why this is happening. So it's a very technically complicated issue. I don't think I will do justice explaining it, and maybe I'll say something wrong and then that will create more complication. But roughly, just so that you guys can understand how, as I said, complicated and how surprised we were when this kind of thing happened, which it shouldn't have happened at all. As I said, but nonetheless, we are hopeful that we'll resolve it, and hopefully something like this in the future will not happen. And that's why we've raised this flag with MOP also. That's why we requested Honorable Minister to immediately go to Delhi and tell the Honorable Power Minister that this is the kind of thing that's been done, which is completely illogical. It should never have happened. Which we are saying that we are going to pay, because that's why we have taken the Atmanirbhar loan. So, but MOP has, or sorry, REC has released only the first tranche of 300 crores. There is another 1,000 crores to come in. That process is on. And therefore, till that process is not over, where we have taken this loan and we are working towards regularizing the dues that are there to NTPC. We're not taking any power for them, by the way, now. It's only the past dues of 400 crores, something that's there. So when we are doing this, why do they have to invoke certain clauses based on the past agreements and regulate our power when they're not even supplying power to us? That's exactly our point. I don't think that's, as I said, we can examine that, but I think at the end of the day, we are trying to resolve this amicably. There is a large due that the government of, the MECL has to NTPC. We are working with them, we're trying to resolve it. We will see how it goes. We don't want to go into that angle when we can resolve the issues in a much more amicable manner.